George is a steamroller who likes to roll along the lane on the island of Sodor. With his big tar-squashing wheel, he can make the roads smoother than ever before. He is also known as a backstabbing road hog. Once, he had an opinion on railways, and as a result, he would watch steam engines puff by the track with steel in his eyes. But the thing he didn't like the most was road vehicles getting in his way. This would make George furious, and make him cry out his usual phrase, "Railways are no good, turn them into roads! Pull them up, turn them into roads!" One morning, Rheneas brought George to a tar and cement mixing yard in case if he's needed for the operation. George was very rude.
"At long last, I'm glad this is over."
"Yeah, well, so am I. You've been acting like a maniac since we've got here."
"Oh, yeah? Well, I'll give you something to complain about."
"You know what? I'm out of here."
And Rheneas chuffed away.
You would think that for 1 minute he would keep his mouth shut, but no!
George was fuming. Everything sounded very quiet. Suddenly, the silence was broken. "So, you don't care about the railway, eh?"
"What? Who's saying that?"
"Over here, you twit. My name's Bulgy. And don't even ask how I got that name. It's a long story."
"Well, I'm George. What is a double-decker bus like you doing here?"
"Oh, I've been found out by the Fat Controller and punished for causing a silly accident."
"Oh, I've been punished as well, for trying to turn the railway into a road."
Say, looks like you and I have something in common.
I guess so, rhetorically.
I knew it! This could be the beginning of a wonderful team-up. Roads voices rails.
Hey, what's up, Rheneas? You seem glum.
It's George, Rusty. Not only has he returned, but he makes me feel down.
Well, just try to ignore him.
The next day, George and his crew were under construction on a fresh new level crossing, and George was their director.
So, what should we do here?
Tear it up and tarmac it. Let no puffballs stand in your way.
Come on, Arthur, off we go. We don't want to be late. Meanwhile, George and his crew had just finished building the level crossing, but not properly, and George knew it. Driver, I think we better stop. Looks like a bumpy road to me, but it was too late. Later that day, Rheneas told Murdoch all about George.
So you see, Murdoch, it's become quite clear to me that George hasn't learned sense on being really useful, just like any other vehicle.
I see, mate. Sounds like this George character just wants the entirety of the railway to himself.
No kidding.
Suddenly, something unusual caught Rheneas's eyes. There stood Bulgy with a sign on him that read, Railway Bus. Bulgy's engine revved, and he set off.
Yabo snobs!
Bulgy, what's he doing here?
Don't you worry, mate. I'm sure he or George wouldn't cause any of us any trouble. Anyways, got to go. Goodbye. Imagine that, a double-decker bus working with a steamroller. What a joke. Hello? What's this here?
Oh dear, looks like karma has done it again.
Soon enough, the Fat Controller was receiving a ton of phone calls. What's this I hear? George and Bulgy working together and tarmacking the railway? Well, okay. Thank you so much. I'll be on my way. Later that day, the Fat Controller came to see George and Bulgy. He was quite annoyed, and his severe speech was brief and blunt. I am most definitely ashamed of you two, tearing up the old rails and building a road in front of the engines. George and Bulgy swallowed. They knew they were in a heap of trouble, and the Fat Controller concluded, For your punishment, you shall provide community service until I can trust you again. Is that clear?
Yes, sir,
said George.
Well, what do we have here? Looks like we've gotten ourselves a villainous duo, not being allowed on the road until their punishment has lifted. But don't worry, I'm sure that you'll learn your lesson next time.
I am sorry to say that after all their chaos, I assure you that there clearly wouldn't be a next time.